Just over here messing with the mandoline a little bit. Thought you might be interested in how I got playing this. See, back in 2004, they found an aneurysm on my main aorta, and they said it was about ready to blow up. And when they got checking that out, they found a spot that they couldn't figure out what it was. So they opened me up and they took out the aneurysm, got that fixed and patched up. And about 6 weeks later, I had to go in for the second operation. Well, the first one, they cut from here all the way around to here for the aneurysm. And the second one, they said I had pancreatic cancer. That's what the spot was. They biopsied, took the spot. Definitely cancer. So they said they was going to have to take that out if they could. But they told my wife I had about 3 months to live. But they wanted to explore and see if they could do anything. So then they cut from here all the way to here. And there's 32 staples. They got in there, they took everything out, got checking it. Took 5 biopsies, put everything back in and sewed me up. And the doctor said, well, I'm going to give you the news, but you've got pancreatic cancer. You also got pancreatitis. That eats the pancreas up. Does about the same as a cancer, so I had both of them. And I was also a severe diabetic. I had poor circulation in my legs. Was about 300 pounds, so I had high blood pressure. And I just had all kind of troubles. Well, that doctor looked at me and he said, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. You got pancreatic cancer, you got about 3 months to live. And I looked that doctor right square in the eye and I said, no, I don't. He said, what? I said, I don't have cancer. What do you mean you don't have cancer? We've been in there, I biopsied, you have cancer. We've got 5 biopsies we've sent off to Johns Hopkins just to verify it. I said, I prayed about it and I don't have cancer. Now, I've heard a lot of things that God has done. I've heard a lot of miracles. I've read a lot of miracles. But what I'm going to tell you about is my miracle that I had. So they had me taking all kind of medicine and I tried to get on disability and couldn't get on disability because they said, well, no, well, I was only going to live 3 months, why bother? So I prayed about it. God said, you do not have cancer. And you know, those 5 biopsies came back from Johns Hopkins. They said I didn't have cancer. The doctor called me and he said, well, I don't know what to say, but the biopsies we got back from the hospital says you don't have cancer. You see, people serve God for a lot of reasons. And I've had a lot of miracles that you're going to be hearing about for the past 34 years. My wife has had miracles. But all these stories that we tell you are true stories, they're our stories. And you know, I was pretty well sick for about 2 years. I was taking diabetic medicine, but I lived. And about the end of 2 years, the Lord told me one day, he said, call your doctor up. Tell him you don't think you're going to need to be coming back. The medicine that you've been taking, quit taking it. And I did. And that was in about 2007. So I just celebrated 2 years of being cancer-free, no diabetes, no medicine. Now, after you serve God, you get to know Him, you can sit down and talk to Him just exactly like we're talking. And I know this may sound like, oh, this can't be true, this can't be true. If God created you, then why can't He fix what's wrong? Now, God uses doctors. He used doctors to fix the aneurysm on my mandoline oil. So He can use doctors. I would never tell anybody to quit taking their medicine. I'm telling you what I personally did. I'm not telling you for you to stop taking medicine. I'm not telling you not to go to the doctor. God could very well save your life with that doctor. But I want you to know what personally God did for me. That's how I got playing this little critter here, this little mandolin. Because after the operations, I couldn't pick up more than 5 pounds. And my banjo weighs about 10, dobro weighs 10 or 11 pounds. So I couldn't play anymore. I couldn't play anything. So I started taking up this little mandolin. And since then, God's had us write a dozen songs. And every song that we wrote is on the mandolin. And it's really become a great help in our music. So God always has a lot of things come out of what He does, manifold blessings. So on top of losing 80 pounds, being able to walk 3 miles, play the mandolin, write songs on it for Jesus. So what can Jesus do for you? Absolutely no way of telling until you start asking Him. When we was out preaching, we used to go in a lot of churches and say, how many people seen a miracle? 1 or 2 would stick up a finger. I'd say, how many's asked for a miracle? And that same 1 or 2 would stick up a finger. You ever ask God for a miracle? How do you know you're not going to get one if you never ask for one? Ask God to start dealing with your life and helping you and showing you what to do. Come into your life. Got a troubled marriage? You got any kind of sickness and troubles? Just ask God. Say, God, make yourself real to me that I can be a believer and a follower of you. And then ask for a miracle and see what God does for you. God bless you, my friend.